In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use list views, and to do so, we'll use the simplest array adapter possible. So let's go ahead and start off, and we'll create a new Android project. We can call this one ListView. The theme, we'll use a dark theme, so just straight hollow, and we'll make an empty activity. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, new Android application project, ListView. And then if you want to put in your initials there, that'd be great. edu.roseholman.listview. And bump up our SDK. Theme, we try here to use Hollow Dark. Click Next. That looks good. Defaults. ListView, me. Circle. Next. Empty activity. Next. Defaults are fine. Okay, it seems not to have taken the our theme here, so I'm going to just make a quick change down in values, version 11 here, styles.xml, and yeah, for some reason probably a bug here or something I didn't do right, but the theme I'm going to change to hollow. Right there, save that guy, and when I go back, well, still isn't showing it that way, but if I wanted it to be here, I certainly feels like I should be able to change it. Yeah, there we go. A dark theme, just to be different. Okay, what we'd like for activity main is just a couple things here. We'd like a button that allow us to add views, and then a list view itself here, right? So so nothing major. Let's take a look at what the XML should look like. All right, so simply linear layout here. A little bit of padding, button at the top with ID, some text, and a list view inside. And the list view itself is just going to have the ID list view itself. Right? So really nothing special there. We're going to go ahead and just copy this in, and then we'll actually convert this guy to a string resource, so we don't have to be copying in a bunch of strings also. All right, so doing that. In activity main, grab this guy on my clipboard, dump it in, save it. It complains here. So what I'm going to do is if I highlight the text, neat little trick here. If I do Alt, Shift, and A, and then S, then that does a string replacement. The simplest thing is to take what it says, but what I'm saying this here is in activity main. This is my button text. All right, but you can really call it whatever you want. I'm just using a naming convention that works nicely when you have a lot of activities. So that converted it to a string resource. We see that it's okay here. Great. So sounds good. What I want to do now is simply just go ahead and capture these views in my text. So I'm going to go back to main activity. And just do a couple things real quickly. So let's go ahead and grab the button. So button is going to be button, find view by ID, r.id.addViewButton. And we'll import button. And then I have a list view. Call it my list view or list view. Should be okay. And take this guy, r.id.listView, and import listView. Okay, very good. So for the adapter to work, what we need is a data source, right? The simplest thing to use is just simply an array, right? So let's go ahead and make a string array here, and we'll just call it names, and we'll construct a new string. And in here, let's put some of your names from class here. So I had thought of some ahead of time. So let's go ahead and grab Tianyu and Hanwei. Oops, let me spell your name correctly, Hanwei. Carly, Safei, Let's see, who else do we want here? Kyle. And let's see, maybe Chris. And let's see, Juliana. All right, so I've got some names here. So very straightforward. So what I want to do then is I want to bind together this basically this list view with this data source with a view, and the way that I do that is by creating an array adapter, right? So I'm going to make an instance of an array adapter here. So an array adapter, and it's a generic class, so it's just simply on strings this time. I'm just going to call it adapter, and then I'll need to call the constructor. So new array adapter for strings. And if I look here, there's lots of different constructors that I could use. So all of them take a context as the first parameter, right? So the context, the simplest thing to do would be to pass it the activity itself. So this. The next thing you notice that they're all going to take here is a resource, right? So resource ID for a layout file containing a text view to use when I'm instantiating the views, right? So so a text view. So this is one that I could provide if I wanted to. There are some nice ones in Android to use if I want. So android.r.layout. And there are just simple list items if I want here. So simple list item 1. I think I'll start. And then the last parameter, you can see that I could have one that's a list or just an array. And since we have an array, I'll just go ahead and pass that in here. So I'm just going to pass in names. And import array adapter. And then there's only one more thing to do, and that's essentially to take this array adapter, which has already grabbed a data source, the array, and it's grabbed a layout, and then I need to tell it what view do I want to feed it to. And that's going to be my list view, and that's very easy to do. So list view has a method here called setAdapter, and I'm just going to pass in the adapter that I created. All right. And run this guy, and that's really all there is to it. Okay, fire this off, and wow, I mean, pretty impressive how quickly we can get that up and running. So here's everyone's names. We don't respond to list item clicks. The add view doesn't do anything, but it's certainly enough to give us a feel for what we're going to be doing. Very good. Let's get the slides caught up. We captured views, right here. Nothing new. Notice that I'm not making member variables. Everything is pretty much going to be happening within onCreate, so that looks fine. We made the adapter, and again, the main idea here is that in one line, we sort of pulled together, a view, and we happen to use a built-in Android one, right? And then we took a data source, which was our array. We pulled these guys together into our adapter, and the adapter is able to create, right, lots of copies of the view here, and it's going to connect them with the list view, right? So pretty nice, right? But of course, there's much more than this, right? And so you might ask her, where are we going to go next? And really, the next thing that we're going to do is customize this adapter so we can do more interesting things, right? So there's actually a whole hierarchy of different classes and interfaces that have to do with adapters. So the basic one is the adapter and interface. And there are a couple of sort of sub-interfaces from this for lists and for spinners that each add a couple methods, but most everything is happening up here. And then there's going to be a couple classes that we can extend, right? So you could extend base adapter if you wanted to. Array adapter also extends this guy, so you could extend it here. And actually, as I'm looking at this is a mistake here. Array adapter is not at all abstract, right? So we just used that guy right out of the box a minute ago, but we'll also look at later how we can extend that. Right? Have a great time.